Okay, this is the ongoing corroborating evidence of what Maria Solis is engaged in while she sends a text message, which is creating what is activity and the operation of my communication device, while the light source is in alignment to my apartment and this engineer light is present in my bedroom. That is also speaking to the sex offense of that Iris Carnero and the third party male, the Asian male of 18065 are engaging corporately while they're surrounding on both sides of my person. The entity is amplifying audible activity, and this is the engineer light that's coming through. This is my bedroom window. This is the shadow of my head as you can see it. This is projected light. This is the demonic, impossible light activity. And that's supposed to be the sunlight coming through closed blinds. While the light source is over me in Ontario, as I documented at 7:18 in the morning, that was a sunrise in Ontario, California, as I'm at Emporia. And my documentation continues where that light source remained over me as I went about the day. That's the significance of the pattern of conduct. This is the same bedroom where the entity is setting the sun in the evening, 10 hours from now. This is the same location where the entity is keeping the moon outside of this window, like you saw, while LAPD was amplifying helicopter activity over building 1818, the same building where the entity is setting the sun, as though this is the sun that will be visible from the beginning till the end of the day. And that is not sunlight that you see them walking in, and it's not sunlight that's on my ceiling. And that is why all 59 units that are indeed filled with third parties engaged in state surveillance, they're violent sex offenders engaged in this is another identification of what is that psychologically harmful pattern of conduct. The entity stalking in a helicopter flying in circles for 47 minutes, while they're also engaged in federal stalking, knowing what's being documented, seeking to obstruct your ability to even publish it. This is that prosecution, which Todd Speaker is also going to be held civilly and criminally liable for. Not only his business, but also the real property is a means of criminal facilitation, where this system of psychological tormenting, stalking, and surveillance is underway. And let me be clear, he's not ignorant, especially when his employees are directly engaged in the pattern of conduct, not coincidentally. And I want to be clear, this is speaking to what is malice. And this is the entity stalking in a helicopter flying for 47 minutes. The entity filling your venue with this engineer light is the direct prosecution of Todd Speaker, the people of the state that are going to federal prison, all 59 units, losing custody of their children while they employ them, making them terrorists and sex offenders and stalkers living at the property. That's what you saw Precious Bastillos engaging in while she is captured on this side. That's surrounding as I open the window. Understand, Precious Bastillos is on this side with all of her children, and Melania Padilla is on this side, not coincidentally at the same time when you're looking at impossible light on your walls, okay? That's P.O.C. The light source is outside of the living room window, okay? This is how you know this is engineered light, because that's not any reflection that's going to occur naturally. This is engineered light that's covering all of the ground, prosecuting any and every one. This is the demonic system of state surveillance underway in California in its core. It is revealing to you the condition of those who are present in that environment and the malice of the conduct. The people of the state that are driving on Alvarado, they know exactly who I am and what I'm doing. Those are demons that know so. And they are in what is not sunlight. They are in an entirely engineered environment. The light source, by the way, is on the opposite side of this building. There is no reflection of what sunlight that's hitting the building, hitting this building and reflecting the window on this side, creating multiple shadows. That's impossible light activity. It is the pattern of conduct. It is legally significant and directly related to that criminal conduct that you saw LAPD engage in, exhibiting demonic possession, flying in a circle in the engineered light, by the way, that was still touching the hillside after 6 p.m. Also doing so in the apartment where you're looking at the sunrise and sunset, and you're looking at the iterations of impossible light activity appearing on all the walls and the ceilings inside of the apartment, where you have your shadows appearing above your head. This is entirely demonic, and it's also that which is occurring outside of any warrant or probable cause. The government has no warrant to engage in state surveillance. All right, and certainly does not do so, has none. That's impunity. While the people of the state, let me be clear, that's why everybody here is going to federal prison, because while the entity keeps you under surveillance through its criminal co-conspirators who live in relevant position off of Alvarado Gardens, driving all around just like this neighboring community, that's the sex offense right there. Engineer light is not only moving across that apartment building, that Cherokee Jeep is creating light activity with the brake lights and then driving out. And also while they're driving an engineered light, and they're also monitoring while they keep this light activity here. My voice, all of the entity is listening to it, and it is the audible activity. All three elements are present. Like I said, it is serving for what's a massive sex offense. This engineered light that you're seeing in the morning, this engineered light remains for the duration of the day. That's not the natural environment. That's called crossing path and monitoring someone systematically, seamlessly. And it is occurring through what is the presence of an unnatural environment. And you are looking at the P.O.C. All right. And that's the ease with which I want to be clear. Also the ease with which you're going to prosecute all 59 units here, living at a crime scene, providing that dedication to the state's pattern of conduct in concert with children, in concert with state actors such as Access LA. This pattern of conduct was underway while that demon was using the vehicle as a means of audible activity as I walked out. They're driving an engineer light moves across the building, outwardly demonstrating demon possession, just like LAPD did twice yesterday. Well, they're doing it every time they're engaging in crossing a path. That's what demons do. In engineer light, they are group stalking. It's demonic activity. All I'm doing is showing you the formula, the 3 elements. They're directly demonstrating demon possession, that psychotic, demented mind state, that twisted mind state when they engage in the pacing conduct in engineer light. It's a direct threat communicated to the target individual. This is a demon that is pacing around in the engineer light, which is what is the demented focus. Demons want to surround you, be all around you in the engineer light, and they're doing that in helicopter. They're doing that as a group while they're driving around, walking around, remaining in relevant position, crossing path. This is demonic. That's crossing path. It's that easy. And you see it because of the environment. They're driving in engineer light. They're also demons that know what you're doing literally at every moment. And they're also sex offenders because they also know what you're doing inside of the private space 24/7. Any other sex offender seeking to record you, take pictures of you, follow you into the bathroom, and this is what the entity is doing in the specific environment, they're going to be prosecuted as the violent sex offenders that they are. And they're exceedingly violent sex offenders as they act as a mass group at all places, even employing children to engage in the elements of monitoring. And they do so with also knowledge of the fact that you're enforcing your rights. That is a very highly mentally demented sex offender. And that's the reality of the pattern of conduct. And this is an ongoing admission, which is going to be submitted against top speaker companies, every third party employee who are group stalkers working via speaker companies. I want to be clear, speaker companies is nothing other than the state. The state is going by the name of speaker companies. You're seeing the exact same environment, the exact same criminal system, and the entity is engaging in the exact same pattern of conduct. The entity is engaging in what is the creation of some veil whereby you're supposed to think it's different. There's some exception because you've got the name of a company invoked somehow, and it's not. Okay, that is superficial and it's legally irrelevant. It's only relevant for purposes of draining the pockets and also identifying what is a means of state surveillance and terrorism in the state, as the entity uses the people of the state, uses their businesses, uses their properties, and that criminal cooperation is going to be punished severely. It is currently 8:35 a.m. and this is speaking to, again, like I said, Maria Solis is going to federal prison. She's monitoring in the private space. This is the significance of utilizing the communication devices, which they are engaged in federal stalking, using communication devices on the venue of the internet. The entity also does this with simultaneity to LAPD's criminal activity of using helicopter activity and crossing path with helicopters. They do it at the same time. This is that psychologically tormenting conduct. They act as one entity. It is currently 8:36 a.m. and this is P.O.C. I want you to see this impossible light activity. This is how you're monitoring in the private space. This is concentrated light, and this is supposed to be the sun out here. There is no iteration of the natural environment whereby that's naturally happening, and it is the identification of the demon possessed. That's exactly what the minion of 18065 is demonstrating while he's crossing path in this direction, and Iris Carnero is demonstrating. And the fact that they are demons is relevant to their prosecution as engaging in state terrorism in the shoes of the government. Surrounding an American citizen in the specific environment where the same apartment you are witnessing the sun rising and setting, and the moon over also that same apartment building at night. That is speaking to what is the center of the universe, which is terrorizing conduct, while the entity is stalking and surveilling in helicopters. Like, again, you saw the LAPD engaging right here where this fake sun is. This is exactly where they were stalking a helicopter for 47 minutes, flying in a circle. Under no circumstances is that harmless conduct, and it was an outright admission to be heavily referenced in the prosecution of the state of California. It is currently 8:37 a.m. This is P.O.C.